Hi, this is Dan here. I hope you're doing really well. And in today's lesson, I'm going to break down some solo ideas so that you can learn how to do it yourself. So first things first, make sure you download the track so that you have something to work towards. But we're in this sort of bluesy style here. And we've got two chords, just E minor to B minor. Okay. We've got a number of things that we need to be aware of when we're soloing, okay, especially in this sort of style. Number one is note selections. What notes work? And I kept this pretty simple. We've got an E minor blues scale. That's all I was doing. And it just fits perfectly. Now you must know, for example, this scale in lots of different places on the bass. You know, you may already know the minor pentatonic. Starting from the 7th fret, that's E on the A string. Add a flat 5, you've got a blues scale. And even just working through that one octave version of it, it sounds really good. If you go to the 12th fret, you've got a little extension here, fret 12 and 14. On the G string, there's that flat 5 an octave higher. But I want to talk to you now about phrasing, and that's where rhythms and space come together. So you've got the note selection. But what you do to those notes is what dictates your solo. And if you really break it down, we've got phrases which are sort of musical sentences, if you like. So let me just play. So I didn't start on the root, I started on the 4th here. Vibrato, especially in blues, a very expressive style of music, so you want to add that expression in the form of articulation. So you've got your vibrato, bends, that's bending from fret 14 to 15, that's that blues note. But the other element is rhythm. So this is in 12/8, it's kind of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Every beat is sort of, that's the sort of unit. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's very slow, okay? So knowing those. So that's playing those eighths, you know, the 12/8 sort of feel. You can double that. And I'm feeling a bit of a 16th note swing thing going on there. So da 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 da. So I'm very aware of what rhythms I can play. And you don't have to always play very fast rhythms. Holding notes, nice long notes. And especially with your vibrato, it can sound very soulful, very bluesy, and that's in this example, that's what we want. So leave loads of space. If I work with the 12th and the 14th frets of the D and the G, perhaps that note, the blues scale, the blues note. So I'm using a few notes, those ones I just mentioned. I'm using a bit of rhythm and a little bit of technique. Hammer on, pull off. But I'm leaving space. Now the space is as important as the notes. And that really is to do with your sense of rhythm and your internal clock, okay? And when you're soloing, be confident to leave gaps. When we talk, we converse with each other and we wait for everyone else to finish speaking before you do. And people who don't are quite annoying, aren't they? So you don't want to be that when you're playing. You want to be tasteful, at least in my opinion. Call and response is a good little technique, so. So the first one is like a call, and then you can do a little response to the phrase, and you start to think about music in terms of little fragments and like it's a language. Which brings me on to licks. There are certain things that I do, having listened to many different players. This is actually based around a Jimmy Lee Moore bass solo on a live James Brown track, which I'll link to below. It's one of my favourite bass solos ever, and you know, I've listened to that loads of times and several other bass players, and there are things that I do that you'll also work out your own licks. So for example, like here's the E on the 12th fret. Playing the G, which is the flat third on the A string, gives you the G, A, B, all on the same string. And I do all this, I love doing this sort of thing. The 3 notes there and sliding in and out of them. And just those 4 notes on their own, you can just practice that. Let's do it up the octave. Don't forget between the 4 and the 5, you've got the flat 5. So let's just use those 5 notes. Let's do the track, see what it sounds like. Just with those notes, you can make something up that sounds pretty good. How you place beats is important, especially in this style of music. You can really lay back like this. Now, do download this backing track and practice along with it. I don't know if you noticed, I made a bit of a mistake with the track. It was a bit last minute and it goes out in a couple of places, but it's good enough that you'll get the idea. So do download that and work through those. But just take a few notes and just think phrasing, think space, think how you can make it as soulful as possible with these articulations. Patterns are always good. So we've talked about patterns, but you can sequence patterns like... So I'm just coming down a pentatonic, doing 3 notes, another 3, another 3. Now we're in that actual key of E natural minor, so I can add a bit of that in as well. That fits over it. Very melodic if you play scale notes like that. It's going up the scale, 1 string. It's quite a good way to see the notes, okay? This is a very obvious one, look. If you're quite new to soloing or new to bass, then the way it goes is that everything I've spoken about, so technique, rhythms, patterns, a little bit of theory knowledge, you'll not be anywhere near where you need to be on any of those elements. So you might start to feel overwhelmed and a bit frustrated. So what you have to do is you have to, well, hopefully this video will at least alert you to the elements that you need to improve on. You can sort of try and get better at each of those and the whole will come together, right? So for example, you don't know that shape. Learn that shape, and you can hear I'm playing it quite fast up and down. You can combine all of these elements that we need to learn into one practice session, you know, so you're kind of, instead of running the scale up and down, it's a bit boring. Go up a bit down, inject a bit of rhythm into it, hammer-ons. In other words, I'm just encouraging you to make music immediately. There's no magic thing that has to happen before you're good enough to do this. You can do this absolutely right now. And in this example, we're using an E minor blues scale, and just take it and... There's another thing I do a lot actually. There's the flat 5 to the 5, little hammer on. This is fret 8, is it? Yeah, 5, 7, yeah, 8 to 9 on the D string. Then I'm playing the D 7th fret, G string. A bit of coordination, index and then middle. And there's it's a passing note, this flat 5, so I'm passing through it, this time pulling off. So there's an example of a lick that I fall back on. Sounds like I'm bored with it, but I use this all the time and I love it. And really, it's all about those elements I've been talking about and all these little, licks, arpeggios, just increasing like 1% every time you play, so that eventually what you want is all of this to come out automatically and naturally. And look, I'm not going to lie to you, that takes a little bit of doing, It takes a dedication on your part. It takes consistent practice. So download the backing track. use some of the ideas. I'll put the shapes as well so that you can download those and learn them in your own time. There's no sign up for any of this. Just make sure you do that, and then you can just begin to piece together these ideas over time. See how you get on practicing this as close to every day as you can. Obviously, the more practice, the better. But if you do 10-15 minutes just on this, do it every day, then you really will get better, I promise you. So I hope you really enjoyed that video. If you did, then please consider subscribing, liking, sharing the video. That really helps me to grow the channel, which is what I'm trying to do. But really, thanks very much for watching. Thanks anyone who does like or, my videos or subscribe to my channel. That's fantastic. And I hope to see you on the next video. Have a good day.